now. The Rangers have decided collectively that the Red Magic needs to just take a little break tonight. The Red Magic didn't quite get it done last night. The Rangers came close. They scored twice in the bottom of the 10th after the Orioles had scored 4 times in the top of the 10th. And a deep drive by Blaylock, a deep drive by Cruz. Both those drives falling just short. And the Rangers fell just short as well. Here's the Orioles batting order brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Brian Roberts, Adam Jones, and Nick Markakis. The Mineral Wells native Aubrey Huff hits cleanup. Then Ty Wigginton, Luke Scott, and Felix P.A. Chad Moeller gives Greg Zahn a night off at catcher. Cesar Izturis is the switch hitting shortstop for the 6-2 Baltimore Orioles. And now scouting out Chris Benson.
Well, Chris pitched 5 innings, gave up 7 runs. And as we said in the open, he really wasn't helped by his defense, and a few pretty soft ground balls made their way through the infield. Didn't really throw the ball that bad. Had a really nice spring training. He's missed his last 2 seasons with a right shoulder injury. First overall pick of 1996. That was by Pittsburgh 12 years ago.
And it's been a long road for Chris Benson. That included a stop off with these Baltimore Orioles. Brian Roberts, one of his teammates. But Benson trying to come back from surgery that has kept him out. Well, at least kept him out of the major leagues for a couple of years. Last year trying to make his way back with the Phillies, and that would have been nice because, of course, they went on to win a World Series. But he stalled at AAA. For the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. And all due respect, he didn't want to continue his career as an iron pig.
What is an iron pig?
Well, it's a pig of some sort.
Made out of iron?
Apparently.
Slow moving pig.
Being a Texas Ranger sounded better. And the Rangers happy to have him. He had that strong spring training. Won a couple of games. He walked only 3 batters in 22 innings. And that will endear you to the manager if you can do that. Roberts, and we've already dubbed him the king of the foul ball in this series, and he lifts a couple into the crowd already. That was not the actual Nolan Ryan, by the way. No.
Good start to the game for that family, though. Right off the bat, they got their foul ball.
3-2 coming to Roberts, and he draws the walk. Bringing up Adam Jones, a guy that pretty much won the game yesterday for Baltimore. We'll check the Ranger defense for you before we get to Adam Jones. Bird is back in the lineup. Josh Hamilton and Ellie Cruz out there in the outfield too. Young, Andrews, Kinsler, and Blaylock in the infield. And again, Saltalamacchia getting a start, this time catching Chris Benson. Adam Jones, his tribute, you can see it, to Jackie Robinson. He's got the socks pulled way up, so you can see the exposed calf. That 1 home run for Jones in the 10th inning last night, but he pretty much saved the game before that. He was a guy that was a catalyst for that terrific relay play. The Rangers' Michael Young getting cut down way back in the 3rd inning, and I guess at the time it didn't seem like that big a deal, but the Rangers went from that point until the 10th inning without scoring again.
I'm looking at Jones's uniform, trying to figure out how he's getting away with wearing blue shoes.
Maybe for the Brooklyn Dodgers tribute.
Maybe.
Jackie Robinson obviously broke in the Dodgers organization. Those would appear to be Dodgers themed spikes tonight. Yeah, with the 42s right on them.
Good call. Probably not the shoe Jackie wore, but
well,
a nice tribute to Jackie nevertheless.
Jones grew up in inner city San Diego and learned very early about Jackie Robinson and his contributions to the game. And again, do not adjust your set. Everybody's wearing 42 tonight in honor of Jackie Robinson.
Boy, if this game fell on the first game of a series, it'd be tough to know who the bullpen guys were coming in for the other team, wouldn't it?
At least facially, we've got an idea now. We've seen these guys a little bit. Runner goes, good jump, and Jones pounds it up into the crowd. Of course, that number now has been retired all across baseball. A few guys have been grandfathered. Mariano Rivera, for example, still allowed to wear 42. Tonight, everybody wears 42. Nice scoop by Solidifies. And again, Adam Jones, a home run yesterday. That was off Eddie Guardado. Eddie ended up giving up 4 in that top of the 10th.
That was a good game for Jones. He also had a hard base hit up the middle to drive in a run against Brandon McCarthy. He's off to a nice start this year, hitting .375. He struck out a little bit, but boy, he's made his hits count. He's knocked in 8 runs. Good looking young player.
4 for 4 opening day against the Yankees. Real nice start to the year for Baltimore. A very surprising 6-2. They ended last year to the Orioles going 6-22 their last 28 games. So to start out here in 09, 6-2 and leading the AL East, I don't know how long that kind of thing is going to last, but at least for now they're the top dog. Tied with surprising Seattle for the best record in the AL. And over in the National League, the 2 teams with the best records are Florida and San Diego. As we are reminded, it's only April 15th.
I definitely didn't see San Diego getting off to a 6-2 start the way they looked in spring training. They had some pretty good pitching early in the season. Real good pitching, as a matter of fact.
Infield, a double play depth. And a drive to right. Adam Jones hits it well. And at the wall, Nelly Cruz almost had it. It bounces back to Hamilton. The Orioles end up with runners at second and third and nobody out. That is the league leading 6th double of the year already for Adam Jones.
He hit the ball well. There's some days where that ball would carry out of the ballpark. High fastball, stayed in the ballpark. Nelly Cruz got back, looked like he got his glove in the vicinity of the ball. Let's take a look up close. He's got it tracked all the way, but the ball kind of met his glove just as he smashed into the wall and couldn't quite come up with it.
And a great RBI opportunity for Nick Markakis, the guy who was leading the league in runs scored. This is not a great start tempo wise here. Benson and Solidifies not quite together on everything yet. And Tom, you mentioned Benson back in 1996, the very first pick in the draft. And you know, you look back at that draft, not a lot of first rounders had a lot of staying power. Benson #1 overall, Travis Lee was #2, Braden Looper was #3, and finally he's kind of carved out a little bit of a career. But then Billy Koch, who got hurt after a couple of years as a Blue Jays closer. John Patterson, who the Rangers dabbled with last year, he never could stay healthy. Seth Greisinger was #6 to Detroit. He could never stay healthy. Matt White #7, Chad Green #8, Mark Kotsay #9, and then the A's hit with Eric Chavez at #10. But of all the first rounds over the last maybe 15 years or so, that's one where not a lot of all-stars jumped out.
Interesting. I think the most interesting part about that draft was the fact that 4 of those players became free agents because of technicalities in the contracts they were tendered as free agents. Travis Lee, John Patterson, Matt White, and Bobby Say a little bit deeper into the draft. But they became free agents. Travis Lee and Matt White signed for somewhere around $10 million. John Patterson got $7 million, and Bobby Say got $3 or $4 million. 2 of them signed with Tampa Bay, 2 of them signed with Arizona. Only time in the draft that that's ever happened.
And it's funny now, you know, the #11 pick that year, a one-time Ranger and a guy that the Orioles just called up who's going to make a start very soon, Adam Eaton. So in this ballpark tonight, you've got 2 of the top 11 picks of that 1996 draft. Maybe the best first rounder we're going to see here this weekend. That's Gil Mesh. He was taken by Seattle at number 22. And if you're wondering, that's the year that the Rangers' first-round pick was R.A. Dickey. (3-2) to Markakis, and a ground ball slowly with the infield back that'll get a run in. Nick Markakis drives in his 10th run of the young season. 1-0 Baltimore tonight. That'll bring up Aubrey Huff. I think curiously also, Tag, about that 1996 draft, the second round seemed to have a lot more star power than the first. Jimmy Rollins was a second rounder, and he's been an MVP. Milton Bradley was a second rounder that year. That one didn't miss by much. According to home plate umpire Jerry Davis, that's ball one. Now the infield in a little bit. Michael Young in on the fringe of the grass here. Kinsler back at pretty much regular depth. And again with the infield back. The ground ball gets the job done. 2 grounders to Kinsler. And it's now 2-0 Baltimore. You go back to the start that Benson made in Detroit. Remember, he allowed the 10 hits and the 8 runs in 5 innings. Now you can tack on 2 runs already here tonight.
He got himself in trouble with the leadoff walk to Brian Roberts. And then Nelly almost made the catch on that long fly ball. And then he made some pretty good pitches to 2 good hitters, Markakis and Huff, and got 2 weak ground balls to second base.
Ty Wigginton will see a lot of playing time for Baltimore going forward for the next couple weeks anyway. Melvin Moore has been put on the DL. He's got a bad hamstring. The Orioles called up Rodimus Lees today. A pitcher available right away. Rangers made a roster move too. Willie Ayer has arrived from AAA. The Rangers sending down Warner Madrigal. High fly ball, and Nelly Cruz should get this one. Rangers will have their shot against Mark Hendrickson, the big 6'9" left-hander when we come back. Baltimore by 2. In the top of the first, and the Rangers have been in rally mode really all through this series. They're going to have to do it again right away. Southwest Airlines starting lineup for your Texas Rangers tonight. Ian Kinsler, Michael Young, Josh Hamilton right up at the top. Andrew Jones hitting cleanup. That is not a typo. .625 batting average, 5 for 8. Blaylock and Bird, Cruz and Saltalamacchia. Elvis Andrews back in the lineup tonight against the former Philadelphia 76ers second-round draft pick. The 6'9" lefty, former NBA forward Mark Hendrickson.
He pitched a nice game against Tampa Bay in his first start, 1 run in 5 1/3. 5 career games, 3 starts against the Rangers haven't gone well.
Ian Kinsler right away drives it, and it's high up on the wall. Kinsler with his 6th double of the year already, right after Adam Jones had wrested away that early season lead in the top of this inning. Adam Jones 6 doubles, Ian Kinsler 6 doubles. And we'll finish scouting Mark Hendrickson. We didn't even have time to do all that before Kinsler doubled.
Only the 7th pitcher in Major League Baseball history over 6'7", 12th player in history to play in both the major leagues and the NBA.
With the 76ers, he was with Jerry Stackhouse and Allen Iverson.
That's a pretty nice resume to have been able to say you played in the NBA and Major League Baseball.
Well,
2 professional things like that's pretty good.
His first 3 NBA dunks on a feed from AI. That's pretty cool.
That's great.
Then with the Nets, he was battling Ronnie Cycli for playing time. That's when the Nets had Georges Murachon as their center. That team didn't win a lot of games. His 76ers teams didn't win a lot of games, and when he was with Sacramento, not a lot of winning there either that year.
Who would you say offhand was the best 2-sport player? In other words, he wasn't a star in one and decent in the other, but he was a star in both.
How about Bo Jackson?
Bo Jackson. We had a player for us too. Brian Jordan was an NFL All-Star and a real good ball player.
Kinsler ducks back in. Yeah, Brian Jordan was a guy who was an all-pro safety for the Atlanta Falcons and was an all-star baseball player for the Atlanta Braves. Of course, Deion Sanders has to make that list. I'm
Deion
sure
was pretty
athleticism,
mediocre in baseball, though. Deion was a great football player, but I wouldn't say he was anywhere close to a great baseball player. Brian Jordan was a much better baseball player than Deion. Bo Jackson, big time, though.
About 10 years ago, I just remember there was a run of college football bowl games. Stanford's quarterback was Chad Hutchinson, who obviously played both sports. There were a whole bunch of guys kind of just like that all through that bowl season that year. Drew Henson tried to play in both. Tom Brady, some people don't know, was an 18th round draft pick of the old Montreal Expos.
Did he play?
Yeah, a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, sometimes
minor league ball?
Sometimes they just draft you just because. Dante Culpepper was drafted to play baseball.
No, but I mean,
just
did Brady play in professional ball?
No, I know he did not. Danny Ainge did years ago. Of course, John Elway for a while. I mean, he was a Yankees prospect, and
probably could have been a ball player if he didn't have football as an alternative. Looks like he made a pretty good decision.
Cowboys fans might remember Quincy Carter was a Cubs draft choice.
High one, too, I think.
Antoine Randall was a baseball draft choice. Anywho, Mark Hendrickson with Kinsler going. This ball chopped slowly to short. Kinsler's going to hang out at third as Michael Young is thrown out. And as we circle around to why everybody's wearing number 42 tonight, I think we have to mention that Jackie Robinson. You know, a lot of people say baseball was maybe only Jackie's 3rd, even 4th best sport.
Well, Jackie was a track star, a basketball star, a football star, and a baseball star at UCLA. Probably right about that, too.
If you've got a kid now who's anywhere between, say, 8 and 14, you'll know, though, the trend now is towards specialization, I think, unfortunately. Off-speed pitches, Hamilton way out in front. When kids are 12 or 14 these days, they're basically asked to pick one sport and put the throttle down. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of multi-sport talents anymore.
I think it's a bad development in youth sports that you're being asked to do that.
Line drive, base hit, Josh Hamilton, as the Rangers cash in to make it 2-1.
He ripped that. There'll be a lot of line drives hit this year. Not many of them will be hit harder than that one, though. Hendrickson fooled Josh on the first pitch with a slow curveball, and then tried to sneak a fastball by him. And believe me, right down the middle of the plate is not going to get by Josh Hamilton very often. And he smoked that ball up the middle.
Kind of a mini version of the 10th inning yesterday. The Orioles score a little bit, and then the Rangers come back, but not quite enough, at least not yet. Very strange game yesterday. Solo home runs flying around the ballpark the first 2.5 innings. Then between the bottom of the 3rd and the top of the 10th, the faucet was just turned off completely. No runs at all. We stayed tied 3-3 into the 10th inning. The Orioles getting to Guardado for 4 in the top of the 10th. Then the Rangers had a great chance to win it in the bottom of the 10th.
Kurt Decker came up with a good one. Bob Hayes. He was a star in track, star in football. He'd qualify as a two-sport star.
That ball sent foul by Jones down the right field line.
Dave Burchett had a good one too. Dave Winfield didn't play the sports, but he was drafted in 3 professional sports. That's pretty remarkable.
Now for the guy on the mound, Mark Hendrickson, baseball/basketball out of Washington State University. Hard hit to third base, bobbled by Wigginton. They do get one, and that one's thrown away. Never did get into the camera well, though. That's kind of a break for Baltimore. Jones would have been awarded second base. Instead, he's just safe on a fielder's choice.
Hard hit ball by Andrew, who really hasn't done much this year except hit hard hit balls. But he hit it right straight at Wigginton. It was almost too hot to handle, but he stayed with it and did get the force out at second. Another good at bat for Andrew.
Hank Blaylock now, he's got a couple of home runs already. The Rangers leading the majors in home runs early here in 09. Nelson Cruz has the most. He's got 4. And boy, he just missed number 5 last night. That would have been a game winner.
The thing was sky high too.
In for a strike. And Blaylock had just missed right before that. To the warning track and right. And then Nelly had the misfortune of hitting it towards that valley in left center field.
There really were 2 pitches that George Sherrill got away with. The one that Blaylock hit was a high hanging curveball, and the one to Nelly was a fastball right down the middle. They both just missed winning the ball game.
Would have been a nice reward for the fans that were sticking around. It was a tough night to be sticking around that late. The Orioles had just scored 4 times in the 10th. Getting late, school night, work night. In the air, left center. Adam Jones is playing back. He's going to come on. He races it down to end the inning. Boy, he's having a great series. Rangers settle for 1 on 2 base hits. They're trailing at the end of an inning tonight. Inning number 2, we go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. In Community Corner tonight, of course, the place where the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation and Fox Sports Southwest team up and honor those who make a difference in the community. How about a difference around the nation? This is Gabrielle Tyler. She is the president of the Jackie Robinson Foundation Alumni Association, and already that association has made a difference from a number of people.
You got it. I was fortunate enough, as well as 1,300 others, to receive an application and a scholarship from the Jackie Robinson Foundation. From there, we've been able to impact a numerous amount of lives because of the opportunities the foundation gives, that being mentorship, different types of internships, and job opportunities after that. So it's a very outstanding experience. That it's also a family. The foundation is headed up by Rachel Robinson, Jackie's wife, and she really instills in us how to be a family and be able to make a difference in the community.
And for those who want to make a difference and help out, what do they need to do?
They can just go to JackieRobinson.org. Out there we have applications and opportunities to give back to the foundation as well.
All right, real quick, Jackie Robinson, he had a son and a daughter. Give us some information what they're up to.
Well, Sharon Robinson works throughout all of the different baseball leagues, and she helps out in different ways. Now, his son is in Tanzania, and he owns a coffee farm, which is amazing. And for some of you guys that do not know, Jackie actually had a coffee business after he retired. So he's following in his dad's footsteps somehow.
I appreciate the time and continued good work. Thank you very much, Josh.
All right, Jim, thank you. And Luke Scott sending one barely fair into that right field corner. So again, the Orioles with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. And for our Geico quote tonight, Tag, we take you to who else but Jackie Robinson. That's one of my favorites right there. Jackie Robinson absolutely lived that. Runners in at the the fielders in at the corners for the Rangers, and Michael Young watching that one go foul. The runner at second, Luke Scott, the batter Felix P.A. The former Oriole, Chris Benson, will deal up and outside. Again, the Rangers a 7-5 loser yesterday. The two teams combined for 6 runs, innings 1 through 9. Then they combined for 6 runs in the 10th inning. Got to give those middle relievers for the Orioles all kinds of credit.
Yeah, a couple of those guys came in and they were throwing really well. Chris Ray looked a lot like he did when he was their closer and saved 30-plus games a few years ago. Jim Johnson, all the players were impressed with the way he was throwing. 93, 94 miles an hour, that hard overhand curveball.
A tough no decision for Brandon McCarthy yesterday.
It was a no decision, but a good step. Again, another step in the right direction for Brandon. He's had 2 starts, and both of them you could take a lot of positive things away from.
Right now, the bullpen has been the weak link for the Rangers with an ERA of 8.2. Again, one adjustment made today. Willie Ayer is up. Warner Madrigal is down. That would be Willie Ayer, and that would be our first telestration of the year, I believe.
Who did that?
Was that you?
That was.
That was Chris Benson did that. And finally, yes, Saltalamacchia will throw on down to get Felix P.A. All right, let's see. Second inning of Game 9. Tom Grieve draws circle number 1.
That's called getting off to a slow start this year.
Well, you're just kind of easing in.
Well, there was a few games without the telly, though. We were tellyless in a couple of games.
Oh, boy.
That wouldn't be real comfortable watching 9 innings in that. Of course, if you don't like it and you're sitting next to him, pretty much take care of it with a pencil or something.
Break out something sharp.
You know, like when you let the air out of a balloon, how it just flies all over. Pop that thing, he just goes spinning around up in the air.
This guy ends up on the right field foul pole right up top. I would pay good money to see that. Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me.
You think that he lost a bet? He doesn't really have a real happy look on his face.
No, I think he just got down to the bottom of the laundry pile, and that's all that was remaining.
That's a good point. I wonder what he's got underneath it.
Towards center.
That's one for Jim Knox. Hey, buddy, what do you got underneath that outfit?
Chad Moeller flies out. You really want to know the answer to that?
No, Jim might want to know, though. He's our intrepid, inquiring reporter.
Got a bad feeling that the answer to that is Axe body spray.
You know who else he looks like a little bit?
Who's that?
Johnny
Damon. Yep, I'm with you. Who would say yesterday? Jim Traber?
Yeah, you mentioned Jim Traber, but boy, when he smiles from the side, he looks just like Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon and those New York Yankees will be making a visit here in May, Memorial Day. 3-game series. The Rangers go to new Yankee Stadium. Not too long after that, the Rangers make 2 trips into New York this year. One trip to Boston. That means the Red Sox come here twice. Once in July, once in August. And interleague wise this year, the Rangers will entertain Houston, the Dodgers, and the San Diego Padres. There's a strike to Torres. Leadoff double in the inning by Scott. But Benson has battled back to get PA and Moeller. And even though his Torres is only hitting 192, he's been a tough out. He has struck out only 1 time this year. He's been to the plate 28 times. The Blue Jays and Arlington native Vernon Wells, toughest to strike out in baseball right now. He's been to the plate 41 times and struck out once. One of Michael Young's best friends, Vernon Wells. They came up together in the Blue Jays organization. They were roommates for a while. Later in each other's weddings. Number 9 guy walks, and now Benson's got to deal with Roberts.
Chris working on pretty high pitch total so far too. 43 pitches.
Wow.
24 strikes, 19 balls. Struggled so far with his command.
Chris Benson, the oldest of 4 kids, all of whom have a first name starting with the letter K. Chris is spelled K-R-I-S. There's Chris, Cassie, Carly, and Craig, all spelled with K's. That is perfect for a pitcher anyway, right? Start that name with a K. Outside.
Roger Clemens do the same thing?
Yeah.
With kids start with K's.
Kobe was with a K.
Yeah.
Can't really name your kid like Jeff, you know, and
start it with a K.
Unless it's a silent
Silent K.
Left field, Brian Roberts has it sit down, and up with it is Marlon Byrd. Gets it in real quick to keep a fast runner at third.
Well, that's a couple of things there. He's shading him that way, so excellent positioning by the Rangers scouts. Good reaction to the ball, charging it, and a nice reputation as an accurate, strong arm that even with 2 outs, they would have to hold Scott at third base. Got a good break on it, caught it on 1 hop. He's ready to unload.
Well, now would be a good time to figure out Adam Jones. He's about to bat with the bases loaded. The Rangers down by just a run. Mike Maddox, the Rangers pitching coach, went out real quick to talk to Chris Benson. That's one thing I've noticed about Mike Maddox. He does not waste time to and from. You know, you see a lot of pitching coaches do that pitching coach shuffle out there like they're arthritic. Mike Maddox, I mean, he's got something to say. He runs out there, says it, and runs back. Down too low. Saltalamacchia able to keep Luke Scott at third.
We saw one game, in fact we broadcast one game that Chris pitched in spring training when his fastball was consistently at 90 to 92 miles an hour, and all his other pitches were really sharp. He had excellent command of his pitches that day. Not quite there in this game yet. That's a tough situation right here. You've got a hot young hitter with some power up with the bases loaded and a 2-0 pitch. Not really a home run hitter, but you can tell he's a strong line drive hitter and will eventually get his share of home runs.
Dialed it down to 83 miles an hour. Jones sitting on that fastball, didn't get it.
Oh, good pitch, good slider. That's what Chris needs to do. And it was a good strike too, outside corner. If he didn't swing at it, would have been a strike anyway.
But a key pitch coming up right here. You don't want to go to 3-1 with the bases loaded on a guy like Jones. Hey, he squares it at 2-2. But yeah, that pitch count is problematic. He's going to be up at 50 with this next one. Jones, the double in the first, and a double and a home run yesterday. 3-2, and now all those runners will get going. Full count, 2 out. The veteran right-hander good to go. And did he get him? He did not. He has walked him with the bases loaded.
Give some credit to the kid. He laid off a tough pitch. Yep, he held up.
As we've talked about in this series, when Adam Jones starts walking as often as he strikes out, he is ready to really bloom. Too many strikeouts, too few walks last year, his rookie year. Now the batter is Nick Markakis. One of the better players that you don't hear that much about nationally, Nick Markakis. First round pick of the Orioles a few years ago. He was hitting in the 2 spot in the order for a while last year. Now he's back to the 3 spot this year, and that should get him some more runs batted in.
He's a 300 hitter. Last year he walked 99 times, had his highest on base percentage of his career. He's an RBI guy.
Was a close pitch right there, but not quite.
He's averaged 100 runs batted in the last 2 years. Home runs lower 20s so far. A lot of doubles. And we've seen him in the outfield. He's got an excellent arm. And he went up against the wall and made a game-saving catch in the first game of the series. So there's not anything on the field that he doesn't do well. High school player, got to the big leagues quick.
Down too low, and the number of balls have basically approximated the number of strikes tonight for Benson. And again, in spring training, he was easily 2-to-1 strikes to balls, not 1-to-1.
Yeah, this is the stuff tonight does not look like the stuff that we saw the game we broadcast in spring training. Much crisper, better velocity, sharper, better command. And tonight he's struggling.
Yeah, just can't get the off-speed stuff over. Josh Roop getting ready in the Ranger bullpen already. And what was so nice, that first spin through the rotation this year, the Rangers didn't have to get Josh Roop up in the second inning or third inning at all. We saw that movie a lot in 2008. Got him to pop it up on 3-1. Saltalamacchia out of room, though.
Actually might have swung at a ball right there. A little bit out of the strike zone.
Well, again, Benson, remember in spring training, we mentioned it, walked only 3 batters total in a little more than 22 innings. He's in danger of walking a 4th batter tonight in an inning and 2/3.
He's also going to be at 57 pitches after this next pitch. Last night, Brandon was almost done with the 5th inning at 57 pitches. Had a real good pitch count early in the game.
Fly ball left field. Marlon Byrd says he's going to get it. He's got it. And the Orioles leave him loaded. They score once. It's 3-1.
Player more than any of the other players have. What he did obviously signified a huge change in the game. We went from like one style of baseball to a completely different style, and it really opened the doors for the whole international thing as well, I think.
The well-spoken C.J. Wilson as baseball celebrates Jackie Robinson night tonight. Again, that's why all the players are wearing Jackie's number 42 on the 62nd anniversary of Jackie's first big league game. Another guy who can speak very well about all that at the plate right now, Marlon Byrd. Been a tough first couple innings for Chris Benson, but he wiggled off the hook in the top of the second. It could have been a lot worse. Baltimore leaving the bases loaded. They had Nick Markakis up with a full count. Aubrey Huff on deck.
Yeah, he's actually gotten Markakis twice in 2 innings with men on base.
Hendrickson changing speeds on Marlon Byrd.
You have to wait on Hendrickson. He's a big, tall, lanky kid. Looks a little bit like Randy Johnson body-wise, but doesn't throw like Randy Johnson. He's a soft thrower. His fastball in the mid-80s. And you see that big, slow curveball that he's got. Going up and trying to pull against him is probably not a good idea. Try to knock the ball back through the middle. Josh Hamilton did that the first time up.
Smashed foul. On a $1 hot dog night at the ballpark tonight. Rangers have the day off tomorrow. Then the Kansas City Royals come in over the weekend. The Rangers will be wearing the red the entire weekend. There are fireworks on Friday. Kids 13 and under get the Josh Hamilton jersey on Saturday. Sunday, it's a cap giveaway. Up near third, foul again. Mentioned Kansas City. The Royals had a game today. Lost to the Cleveland Indians 5-4. As the Indians get to 2-7 for the year. The Yankees beat the Rays today by the final of 4-3. Carlos Pena hit his 4th home run of the year already. But the Yankees, with 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, come back and win. And in Oakland today, Tim Wakefield took a no-hitter into the 8th. Boston beat the A's 8-2. On the ground, nice play at third base by Wigginton.
What a play.
That's a Brooks Robinson play over there.
He had a one-hop smash. I don't know if Ty saw the ball go into his glove. I doubt it. He just turns, sticks his glove up pretty much with his back to the plate and his head away from the ball, and that ball went right in his glove. What a beautiful play on a hard hit smash. That's going to be a hit most of the time. Nice play.
Nelson Cruz will test him out again. You can't get it past Ty Wigginton, apparently. Two baseballs hit on 2 pitches to Ty Wigginton. He takes care of them both. Let's quickly go to Jim Knox.
All right, Josh. Tom, here he is. It's Robbie. Believe it or not, he plays football at North Texas. It's North Texas night. So, Robbie, why did he get up here?
Rangers lost a few games straight, and we're not clowning around anymore. And it's dollar hot dog night.
You need to lay off by the looks of things right there. Okay, you already got a text from your friend in Lubbock who's watching the game. What did he say?
He said that Tom said it can't look too comfortable sitting in this for 9 innings.
Well, how does it feel?
I'll do anything for these Rangers, Tom.
Attaboy, we appreciate that.
All right, now we also have a fan in the suit, correct? And they're running low on batteries, so he's sending his fellow linebacker to the gift shop to make a run. And he said on the way, can I get a couple of hot dogs? So he's coming back. So best of luck. You're in the running for Progressive Fan of the Game. We'll see how this suit holds up, all right?
Jim, we got it.
There we go.
All right. Appreciate it. See you, Jim. We'll be here, Jim.
Coach Dodge must be very, very proud up there in Denton.
Hey, it's nice to see those guys out at the ball game.
Sure is.
Oh,
come on now.
You got to be kidding me.
This is just getting stupid. A line shot by Saltalamacchia absorbed.
He's got to pitch a good game if he doesn't get somebody killed.
3-1 at the end of 2. Insurance and by Whataburger. At the ballpark where the hot dogs are just $1 tonight. Baltimore defensively has been putting on a show this entire series. The Orioles lead tonight 3-1. Mark Hendrickson just took one right in the glove on a line shot by Saltalamacchia.
Well, he hit that ball to the exact spot where he followed through, and his glove happened to be, which is the only way you're going to catch that ball. You're not going to move your glove to catch it. That ball just found his glove.
How about some Ranger defense now? Kinsler back to make the play. Well, Ty Wigginton made that real nice play to begin that second inning. And really throughout this series, we've seen Brian Roberts make a couple of highlight reel plays at second base. Adam Jones obviously in center. Nick Markakis, a game saver in right. I still say the best play going top to bottom in this series was that relay play the Orioles pulled off yesterday. Jones to his tourist to Zahn. What a job Zahn did. Not only short hopping that ball, but closing off the entryway. There was no way that Michael Young could get in there and find home plate. Benson will make the play on Wigginton. Take you back to the play that Hendrickson made, our Coors Freeze cam.
Watch his glove as he follows through. Boy, if that hit in the palm of his glove, it didn't feel very good. He actually did move his glove a little bit to catch it. Incredible reaction right there. Hope his hand's okay.
I don't mean to keep saying that's lucky or anything. I mean, he's a skilled defender, but not the good skills like nunchuck skills and bow hunting skills and computer hacking skills, but that baseball skills. And as we mentioned, basketball skills. Two-sport star Mark Hendrickson. What other sports did you play, Tag, in high school back in Pittsfield?
I played basketball. I played football. Played all three sports. Back then, whatever the season happened to be, that's the sport you played. They didn't run into each other too much. You weren't forced to specialize.
Well, and you guys.
So whatever was happening, that's what we played.
And baseball was a short season in the Berkshires,
yeah,
right?
Pretty short season. So you very seldom had to worry about basketball going into baseball because you couldn't play outside anyway.
Now, were you a small forward in basketball?
Well, actually, I guess I was small. I did play forward. Couldn't dribble that well.
Andrews unable to make the play on one that skims out there by Luke Scott. All set
in our league, we didn't have 6'9", 6'10", 6'8" guys. If you were 6'5", you probably played center.
We're all set to start talking about the defensive skills of Elvis Andrews. That ball got on him in a hurry, though, and he could not make that play.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy play. It's got some spin on it. Slicing spin. Picked off his glove. But same thing could easily have happened to Wigginton on that ball that Marlon Byrd hit.
Yeah.
That ball just happened to go in his glove. After he made the second play, you could see him looking over toward the bench with a big smile on his face. Some of the guys on the bench were probably good-naturedly ribbing him.
You ever hear of anybody bad-naturedly rib anybody, or it's always good-natured ribbing?
Yeah, ribbing does mean good-natured,
right.
I guess. That goes with the territory.
I'm not being critical. I'm just wondering.
You're right. You're right.
I wouldn't take issue with the star small forward of the Pittsfield High School whatevers, boy. Fly ball, left side of the infield. Michael Young takes care of it. Bottom of the third coming up. Infielders about to hit. Andrews and Kinsler and Young in a 3-1 game. Rangers taking on the Royals this weekend. Friday, it's Big Bang Fireworks presented by the Star Telegram. Plus, you can get $10 tickets and $5 parking. Enter Fireworks is the coupon code on TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972 Rangers. Andrus and Kinsler and Young in the bottom of the third against Mark Hendrickson. Rangers trying to avoid a sweep here at home after they took it to the Indians in a 3-game series about a week ago. Went through it. Andrus down 0-2.
They have to be a good bunt because both Huff and Wigginton, after the first time he squared around, were in shallow and they were charging. So Elvis is going to have to lay down a really nice bunt to be able to beat it out.
Elvis has not walked yet at the big league level.
He had some bad luck in the first game of this series. He hit it on a hit and run, a one-hop shot right at Roberts. And then later in the game, he hit that one-hop shot up the middle that Roberts dove and made a spectacular play on.
Chasing the breaking ball outside. Kinsler comes to the plate, and if you stay tuned for tonight's Dodge Grab Light feature, we will hear from you in just a little while. We had some cookies tonight. We got to say thank you to some people for some cookies.
Shirley Coast sent up a delicious batch. She's our cookie lady. And Ryan and Dana Smith from Irving, Texas, set up a delicious batch of chocolate chip cookies.
Dana is one of our Twitter followers.
Is she?
She is. So thanks to everybody following us on Twitter at Rangers TV Josh. And obviously you emailers, thank you for all the emails and for the input so far this year. You can get us on email at foxsports.com. Keyword email Rangers. That pitch inside to Kinsler. Understandably, a lot of the Twitterers and a lot of the emailers pretty disappointed with the recent turn of events. They got to be loving Kinsler, though, as he drives this one to left center, and it is gone. It is now 3-2.
A couple of pretty good second basemen in this game. Ryan Roberts doing everything for Baltimore, and Ian's doing everything for the Rangers. Roberts came into the game hitting .441. He's had a base hit and scored a run. Ian came in hitting .375. He's got a double and a home run. That fastball was almost in the same spot as Josh Hamilton had when he hit that rope up the middle for an RBI. It's a fastball that is pretty much right down the center of the plate. That's obviously an area of the plate that Mark Hendrickson is trying to avoid.
Hendrickson basically made tic-tac-toe diagonally those 3 pitches to Kinsler. He started out with, well, if you're looking at your touchpad on your phone, the 3 and the 7, and then he dialed 5, which is not a good idea. Kinsler with a double and a home run, both to, well, left or left center tonight, and we continue to marvel at the ability to pull the ball. Ian Kinsler, of his 14 hits this year, 13 of the 14 have been left or left center.
And it's funny, if you watched Ian in batting practice today, he was hitting everything to the right side of second base, waiting on the ball, driving the ball to right field. So I don't know that it's necessarily in his game plan to go up there and try to pull the ball, but if he gets the kind of pitches that he can pull, he definitely will.
You'd think at some point, especially lefties, would get the idea that if you go middle in to Ian Kinsler, I mean, it's not like you're going to jam him.
Well, he's tough to pitch to in that regard because he stands right on top of the plate. And so if you throw him on the outside corner, it's the kind of pitch that's almost right down in the middle, right down the middle to someone else. For instance, a pitch on the outside corner to Ian is like a pitch right down the middle to Michael Young, because Michael stands much farther off the plate than Ian. So I think they get the feeling, as tight as he is to the plate, that they need to pound him in. But he's so good at hitting that pitch that strategy doesn't really work.
Slowly hit, and a rare bobble by his Taurus. Like,
they caught everything and they both missed that one.
Isn't that something? The Orioles, who have been so incredible defensively, and that's a one-time Gold Glove winner at short in his Torres. One-time Michael Young and minor league teammate Cesar Torres.
As Torres missed it, it caroms to Wigginton, and he missed it too. Not that he had a play. That's the first thing Wigginton's missed today. He's caught everything else. That's a play his Torres will make most of the time.
Chance for Josh Hamilton to actually give the Rangers a lead now. And Josh has been swinging at a lot of first pitches, and he did that last year too. Nobody quibbled with it at all because of the success he had doing it. And as we've talked about a lot in this series, he's not seeing exactly the same kinds of first pitches here in 09 yet that he saw in 08. That's an adjustment that Josh, at least early in this game, seems to have made. He's weighted Mr. Hendrickson out a little bit. If you're confident it's going to be off-speed stuff in the dirt, that seems to be what's on the menu for Josh first pitch. Maybe Josh just starts to let those go by. Swinging 2-0, it's a foul. Chop ball first base. They're going to get the one out. No way they're going to capture Hamilton, though. He just moves too well for a big guy. Fielder's choice.
One thing a first baseman has to do, if you're a first baseman at home and you throw right-handed, when you catch this kind of a ball, you have to step in toward the pitcher's mound as you throw to second base to make sure you've got an angle to get it to the shortstop so you don't hit the runner. If you just field it flat-footed and go to throw, about the only target you got is the back of the runner.
Andrew Jones. And Tom, just to back up what we're talking about with Josh in the first pitch swinging, 23 out of 36 at bats this year he has swung at the first pitch at 64%. Nobody else in baseball, not even Vlad Guerrero, is at 50%. Obviously we're really early this year, but he's got 23 first pitch swings this year. Nobody else in baseball has 16. And I'm looking at it the other way, looking it up statistically. J.J. Hardy has been up 41 times, power hitter for the Brewers. He has not yet swung at a first pitch this year. He's 0 for 41. They're just different strokes for different folks. Check swing by Andrew Jones. Andrew hit into a fielder's choice in the first inning. Runner goes. And the throw by Chad Mueller. No way. Hamilton, who vowed to steal more bases this year, got a great jump, and that's his second of 09.
Yeah, you get the feeling that with all the things Josh does on the field, if he could steal 20 or 30 bases, he'd probably be as proud of that as anything else. saw Greg Zahn have a great game yesterday. He talked about the play at the plate. He also threw out a couple of runners stealing. I don't think he would have thrown Josh out on that one, though. Josh had a nice jump.
And a 2-2 count on Andrew Jones now. And Josh in a position where a base hit out there to the outfield will tie this game 3-3. Blaylock on deck. Baltimore scored twice in the first, once in the second. The Rangers won in the first, one now in the third on the Kinsler home run. Ian's third of the year. First time that Moeller at catcher for the Orioles has worked with Hendrickson. Moeller was a late addition to Orioles spring training right at the very end. Actually started the year with the Washington Nationals in spring training. Then hooked on with the Yankees only for about a week. When the Yankees couldn't hold on to him, Baltimore was glad to grab him. Down and outside. Well, they talked about what to throw. They just couldn't throw it for a strike. And Dave Tremblay, second-year manager of the Orioles. We talked about him briefly the other night. Never played professionally at all. He spent a lot of time riding buses in the minor leagues, managing for 20 years in the minors before he got the shot with the Orioles. Should say the second full year for Dave on this gig. Blaylock ground ball. There's Roberts. And he couldn't get it. He's been getting everything this series, but he didn't get that. We're tied 3-3.
That's a good point. The Rangers finally hit a hard hit ball in the vicinity of the fielder, and they didn't catch it. There's been a lot of hard hit balls, even in this game, especially in this game, that have been caught. Nice plays by the Orioles. But finally, a ball found its way through the infield. Roberts didn't get that one, and the Rangers tie the game.
The way the Orioles have been vacuuming up every baseball in this series, you just kind of assumed that Roberts would get it. But well, a chance for Marlon Byrd to break the tie. Chad Moeller has to stop and drop. Three runs, 4 hits both ways now in the bottom of inning 3.
Now the error comes into play. Unearned run.
I'll put in the call for Marlon Byrd right here. Marlon really creamed one last inning, but was robbed at third base by Ty Wigginton. Drive, fair! Blaylock comes around third. He is held. It's a double for Marlon Byrd, and the Rangers are on top.
Marlon's hit the ball hard twice. Wigginton made the play on a smash, one-hop smash. This one, no one could catch. And I think one thing when you watch the pitch tracker that you see today with Hendrickson is when he hits the middle of the plate, he's in trouble. The Rangers have jumped all over a few fastballs that have been right down the middle of the plate. That's an area he's trying to avoid, but pitcher can't throw it exactly where he wants to every time, and Rangers have taken advantage of some of those pitches.
Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, went out and Had a quick little word with Mr. Hendrickson. Second and third for Nelson Cruz. Remember, Nelly was up with a couple on with a chance to win the game in the 10th inning last night. His drive was caught on the warning track in left center. Big breaking ball, that big curve for strike one. Rangers started the year with a 3-game win streak. They've now got a 5-game losing streak. Ahead tonight 4-3 in the 3rd inning. Last year the Rangers really didn't put streaks together for the first few months. They'd win one, lose one, maybe win 2 or lose 2, but didn't have any 3 or 4 or 5 game winning or losing streaks for a while. Three wins and 5 losses. That's how 09 has started. The team off to the quickest start in the division is not the Angels, not the A's, but Seattle. Mariners host the Angels tonight with a record of 6-2. Fly ball into the crowd. Blue Jays and the Twins are tied 2-2 tonight. We're going to see Toronto on this upcoming road trip. The Tigers stomped on the White Sox today 9-0. Armando Galarraga did it again.
How many innings did he pitch in that game? Have you got it?
I will look it up. It was a 4-hit shutout combined, and Galarraga went 6 1/3. Down and away. Soldifies on deck. He would be the 9th Ranger to hit in the inning if the Rangers can get it to him. He walked him. Now remember, the Orioles burned their bullpen yesterday because Alfredo Simon only lasted an inning in the 3rd. They have called down for reinforcements, but a couple guys just up from AAA today.
There's one of them right there.
Is that Lees?
I think so.
Rodimus Lees. Everybody's number 42 tonight again, so that's of no help. But I think you're right. Soldifies looked like he got something in his eye. He backs out. And that gives Chad Moeller time to head on out and talk to Hendrickson. An error by Cesar Izturis. A very sure-handed shortstop. That helped to keep this inning going for the Rangers.
That's cost Hendrickson probably 15 pitches so far and a couple of unearned runs.
Well, you know what else was huge? Just Hamilton busting it out of the box and making sure he was safe on that fielder's choice.
Very tough to double him up.
All right, here we go with the bases loaded. Remember, Soldifies drilled one, but right back into the glove of Hendrickson last time. back into the crowd. Well, the Rangers, with that home run from Kinsler in this inning, Tag, they're up to 18 home runs already this year. So they're averaging 2 per game. They've homered in every game so far. First time in franchise history that they've run out of the chute with 9 games and 9 home runs.
Feels like that was a long time ago that he had hit that home run.
Yeah. They're giving Hendrickson a lot of time in between pitches here. With is that a swing? I guess it is a swing. With nobody on base, you're supposed to throw it within 12 seconds. With somebody on, it's supposed to be within 20. And that supposedly is being enforced. But I guess not, because we're told by our folks in the TV truck that was more than 30 seconds right there that Hendrickson was on top of the mound with the ball. Slowly hit to second base. Baltimore escapes, but 3 runs in. And the Rangers on that seesaw take the lead here 4-3. Thank you, Ian Kinsler. Sullivan wrote it, and I agree that Ian Kinsler would have really enjoyed Jackie Robinson, and probably vice versa. Ian wears the socks just like Jackie used to, pulled up like that. He's a second baseman with power and speed and a real passion for the game. Ian among the many, proudly wearing the number 42 tonight. Rangers have a 4-3 lead, and Chad Moeller leads it off. Both the starting pitchers tonight, Tag, are averaging about 22-23 pitches per inning. So we are kind of crawling along tonight. Benson will retire Chad Moeller on only 2 pitches. And we'll get you to the Aflac trivia question as we are playing ball here in the top of the 4th inning. All right, Jackie Robinson played 1 year in the Negro Leagues before signing with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Do you know which of those teams he played for? Answer coming up in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cesar is Torres, contact hitter to be sure. All those stats we've been rifling through, Tag, and you made the comment they got stats for everything now, but it says here 1 time so far this year has there been a swing and a miss from Cesar Torres, and he's played every game.
That's pretty good.
That's real good to go 9 games and swing and miss once. Now he's only hitting 192, but he's putting the ball in play.
Well, you know, sometimes if you're kind of a wild swinger and you have really good hand-eye coordination and you make a lot of contact, you're actually better off swinging and missing at pitches way out of the strike zone, because if you put them in play, you're not going to do anything with them anyway. All you're going to do is hit a ball off the end of the bat weakly somewhere, or ball off the handle weakly, and you can make a case you'd be much better off if you swing at a bad pitch to miss it than put it in play, unless you're Pudge Rodriguez or Vladimir Guerrero, someone like that, or notorious bad ball hitters anyway. Most hitters aren't like that.
Putting it in play to his former minor league teammate, Mr. Young. And 2 down now for Brian Roberts. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh and Tom. Look who we have here, the great John Blake of the Texas Rangers, here with some huge news. This coming out of Fort Worth. That is a Rangers' new retail shop, John?
Well, it's big news for us, Jim. The Texas Rangers retail shop opened this morning at 10 o'clock, and they doing a brisk business all day today. It's full line of Rangers apparel, autographed jerseys, novelties. Plus, it's a full-service ticket outlet as well. You can buy individual game tickets, group tickets, season tickets. You can make exchanges. And the best thing is it's right in the heart of downtown Fort Worth and Sundance Square, 316 Main Street. And it's a great location for us. We really want to make a bigger impact in the Fort Worth market. That was one of Nolan Ryan's initiatives when he came on as president, and it's going to be a great thing for us.
And the hours, you can't miss it because they stay open late, right?
Yes, they do. 10 to 8 Monday through Thursday, 10 to 10 Friday and Saturday, and 12 noon until 6 on Sunday. So if you're strolling down in downtown Fort Worth, stop by, pick up Rangers tickets, pick up some Rangers merchandise.
There we go. All right, John, good seeing you. Appreciate that. So look out, Fort Worth, the new Rangers retail shop in your town right now. Thank you, John. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, John. And Brian Roberts, a 1-2 count. He'll nail one foul. That is nice. The Rangers making the effort. It is a Tarrant County experience, too. The Rangers want to make sure that that part of their fan base is able to shop for whatever they want to. They've had the Dallas store open for a while. That is apparently doing very well. A nice part of Dallas. Right on McKinney. Got him.
Good inning right there for Chris. Good comeback.
Chris is actually retired now. 7 of the last 8. Seems to be getting stronger as the night is going on. 4-3 Texas.
Mom and Dad are talking, and that little guy's focused on the game, boy.
Yeah. Hey, back to our Aflac trivia question, talking about Jackie Robinson on Jackie Robinson night in baseball. Which Negro League team did Jackie Robinson play for? Very briefly, it was the famous Kansas City Monarchs. Buck O'Neill and Satchel Paige for a while. Elston Howard played there. Ernie Banks played there for a little bit.
You know, a lot of baseball fans have watched Ken Burns' special. I went back and watched it again this winter, and it was almost like watching it again for the first time. There's so much to it, and it's so good. But the one thing that you keep coming back to every time you watch it is what a star Buck was in that whole series. But the part on Jackie Robinson with Buck talking about Jackie was really tremendous.
1945 with the Monarchs coming out of UCLA. 1946 for the Montreal entry in the minor leagues. And then the big jump in 1947 that changed everything. A foul ball from Elvis Andrus. Two-two delivery is down too low. Kinsler on deck. Ian's had a big night. Hendrickson delivers, and there's the first big league walk for Elvis Andrus. Kinsler coming up. And on our fourth leaderboard, it's all about Jackie Robinson tonight. And what we're attempting to show you, the career stats of Jackie Robinson. We'll get back to that in just a moment. That was our tribute. That was Dodger Blue right there for Jackie. He was a 1947 Rookie of the Year. Kinsler is now 3 for 3.
Well, he threw him a fastball. He hit a home run on it. Threw him a slow pitch, 71 miles an hour. He waited on that and ripped it into left field.
So Andrus on down to second base. Kinsler is a triple away from the cycle.
Hendrickson has walked 3 guys, Josh. The guy you ought to think about walking is Ian.
Yeah. I would say Ian's got a triple in him, the way he runs.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What a tribute that would be to Jackie Robinson from that second base position, doing it all. A lot of baseball still left tonight. Here's Michael Young. And a strike to Mike. Can you imagine if the Orioles still had Steve Traxel and this guy?
Ooh. And they pitched in the same game?
Not setting any land speed records out there on the mound with Hendrickson. Oh, okie dokie. They say good things come to those who wait. This guy is due for like a big-time treasure. Ground ball right side. Roberts has got it. Spins. Bouncing the throw away. Andrus scooting to the plate. He scores.
Well, we kept praising the Orioles for the defensive plays they made through 2 games in the first part of this game. But the error on his tourists in the third inning, allowed 2 unearned runs to score. Now the Rangers take advantage of an error on Roberts right there and have a chance for a big inning now.
Fielder's choice E4 and an RBI. Oh, check that, no RBI. Yeah, kind of a tough angle right there. Still nobody out in the inning, and Josh Hamilton now trying to put this thing away if he can. Runners go. Moeller throws. Too late. Double steal. The fans love that. The Rangers had that daring do of a double steal earlier in this series with 2 out in the 9th inning.
You know, the Rangers have the type of team who hits a lot of home runs, play big ball a lot, but Ron's doing everything he can to do the other things too. That double steal the other night was an example. This is an example of it, trying to make things happen.
Does this make Hendrickson think now that he can pitch around to Hamilton, though, with first base open? No, apparently not. He goes at him, and Hamilton sends it down to the left field corner and into the crowd.
Yeah, you know, he probably feels that first base is open. On the other hand, Josh is a left-hand hitter, and if you do pitch carefully to him and walk him, you still have nobody out, and you've got Andrew Jones coming up, who has been swinging the bat exceptionally well for the Rangers. So it's a tough situation for a pitcher. I think lefty versus lefty, you have to try to get him out. But now he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes, so you obviously have a lot of chances to keep the ball off the plate. Try to get Josh to swing at something out of the strike zone.
Infield is back for Baltimore with nobody out. That one's way high to Hambone. .80 pitches now for Hendrickson in this game. Again, the infield back. Let's get you back to that Jackie Robinson stat page we were trying to get you to earlier. That Ford leaderboard. And there you see it. Not only a Rookie of the Year, but the MVP in 49.
And the key to his stats, .409 on base percentage for a top of the order guy.
Ground ball foul. Andrew Jones on deck. 5-3 Rangers in the 4th inning. That's 4 unanswered runs for Texas. Hamilton an RBI single in the 1st inning. And a big, very subtle play in the 3rd, beating out a fielder's choice. Would not get doubled up, and that kept the inning going. It's like the old 4 corners offense in basketball right here. But it pays off. Hendrickson makes Hamilton wait and wait and wait, and then he strikes him out.
That's one of the better pitches that Hendrickson has thrown. Threw a sinker down and in, slightly out of the strike zone. Might have caught the bottom of the strike zone. Actually, it did, but a very well located pitch with good movement on it.
Pitch tracker brought to you by Steel. A first base is open. And some confusion here. The Orioles had lined up defensively like they were going to intentionally walk Andrew Jones, and then it looked like Hendrickson wasn't going to do it. And then Dave Tremblay started yelling from that dugout, and now apparently, yes, they are going to intentionally walk Andrew Jones. It was Cesar Torres who was out there at shortstop, kind of looking left, looking right, looking to the dugout. He's got to be the captain out there, right? The shortstop. And he's the one that I think was saying, hey, what are we doing here? You're walking this guy or not? As it turns out, the answer is yes, and it'll be a bases loaded chance for Blaylock.
Well, Hank is lined out to center. Nice play by Jones at center field, and then had a base hit just by the glove of Roberts at second base into right field, knocked in a run. Chance to put a little distance between the Rangers and the Orioles right here.
Five career slams for Blaylock already. Only one since 2004. He had three within a span of about 5 weeks in 2004. One was as a pinch hitter. That was an 18-3 game on the 4th of July in Houston that year. Blaylock smashing it foul into the crowd. And the Rangers will have the day off tomorrow. Then you've got the Kansas City Royals coming in over the weekend. After that, the Rangers hit the road. They will play these Orioles on the road along with Toronto. Wonder if when Hendrickson was playing basketball, if he was one of those guys at the foul line who would just stand there and eyeball
the ball.
Yeah, just kind of spin it in his hands. Down too low to Blaylock. It's now 1-2. Marlon Byrd on deck. Now the beneficiary of all this is the former Oriole Chris Benson. Fly ball. And Adam Jones is going to line it up in shallow center. Not deep enough to get the run in.
A couple of big outs for Hendrickson. Then on second and third, he struck out Josh. Bases loaded. He gets Hank to pop up to center field. Rangers have had one in thanks to the error, but had a chance for a real big inning. Shame to waste it. They got a good guy up there right now. Marlins hit the ball hard twice, ripped a double, and ripped one that Wigginton made a great play on.
That North Texas, University of North Texas crowd, they know what to do. They're doing the bird for Marlon Byrd.
They're doing calisthenics. Coach would be happy to see him working out at the ball game.
Don't you know about the bird? Everybody's heard the bird is
the bird is the word.
But the Trashmen.
That kid's been smiling the whole game.
Can't be unhappy wearing that thing.
Nope.
Up and outside, 2-0, no place to put him. So Marlon Byrd can kind of put that in the keyhole, right? Wait for that pitch to get centered right where he wants it and unload. Marlins already doubled tonight. A smash. See if Byrd can lock in. Fastball and a fastball count, but he couldn't connect. '95th pitch of the night coming up. And Marlon hits it in the air to left field. Get down. It does. 1 run scores. And it's ushered in and then deflected away. Backed up. Chad Moeller went and got it. Marlon Byrd comes through. Got that breaking ball. Waited on it. And it's now 6-3 Texas. Two RBI night for Marlon Byrd.
Pretty good pitch. Curveball down. And it right at PA in left field. He got the ball in quickly and allowed them to keep the bases loaded instead of having another run score.
Now, hopefully more to this inning as Nelly Cruz is about to bat. But whatever happens, it will not be with Hendrickson on the mound anymore. Rodimus Lees is going to come on in. He was at AAA to begin this morning. And now this evening, he's in Arlington, Texas, and he comes on with the bases loaded. Rangers up 6-3.
Spring training in Tucson, where I'm from, and that was an awesome moment for me, just because my family was there and I was able to celebrate with them.
Ian Kinsler, that's brought to you by Dodge. Been a big night for Ian tonight, a triple away from the cycle, and we're only in the 4th inning. Rodimus Lees comes in the ball game. He will face fellow Dominican Nelson Cruz. Bases full of Rangers, 2 out. And Nelson Cruz sends one to right center field. There it goes! 1 pitch, 4 runs, grand slam, Nelly Cruz!
Wasted any time. He got a pitch out over the plate and drilled a rope into the Ranger bullpen. Line shot. All these runs are unearned. 6 runs this inning. They're all unearned. 2 of the 3 last inning were unearned. So it's 10-3, and the Rangers have 8 unearned runs. That's taken advantage of a couple of opportunities.
2nd career slam for Nelson Cruz. Welcome back to the big leagues. Rodimus Lees got called up today from AAA. His first pitch hammered over the Snapple sign. 10-3 Texas. Nine runs, 2 earned for the game for Hendrickson. 1 unearned run so far for Lees. Actually, I believe that'll be
10.
one that's...
Isn't it 10 runs?
Well, that one run, that last run charged to...
Oh, you're talking about his line.
Yes. Yeah, Hendrickson's line is 9 runs.
I got you.
And I'm wondering, is that one where it's earned to him but not to the team? He gave up...
I believe you're right. I believe you're right.
Because he gave up the home run.
All Hendricks's were unearned, but
right.
Yeah, you're right. I think his is an earned run for him.
That'll go as unearned to the team, though.
Right.
Saltalamacchia takes the strike. Boy, it took forever, it seemed, for the Rangers to get the first 6 runs because of how slowly Hendrickson was working. In comes Lees. And in like 1.8 seconds, there's 4 runs. So that's 5 home runs for Nelson Cruz in his first 9 games of this year. Remember how he ended last year as he came up from AAA, and it was raining home runs all around in the month of September. He had 44 home runs total a year ago, 7 as a Ranger, 37 in Oklahoma. And for those that thought that maybe that was just kind of a fluke thing, no, it looks like Nelly is here to stay.
He's done it in a lot of different places: minor leagues, big leagues, Dominican Winter League, World Baseball Classic, spring training, and the big leagues within the last year.
Having just missed a 3-run home run that would have won the game last night. The grand slam tonight. There's ball 4 to Saltalamacchia. There have been 3 walks in the inning, and that huge throwing error by Brian Roberts. Dave Tremblay, though, still 20 runs away from how bad it got his first day on the job for the Orioles. The Rangers won 30-3, memorably. That's a game that was started by a guy that I think is very similar to Rodimus Lees, Daniel Cabrera. Elvis Andrus puts a charge into one. Look at that thing take off. He'll keep on running. Saltalamacchia comes around. Andrus standing up at third base. And if the Rangers can go back-to-back triples now, it'll be a cycle for Ian Kinsler by the 4th inning.
Pitch on down and in, and boy, Elvis put a beautiful swing on that. Early in the season, he's shown that he's a little bit more than just kind of a 9th place slap hitter. He drove one into the Ranger bullpen on opening day for a home run, and then smoked that line shot over Adam Jones's head. Jones was playing fairly shallow on that, and he launched it in a hurry. Line drive right over his head.
All right, if you're Ian Kinsler, you want a 2-run home run here or the cycle?
Personally, I want the 2-run home run. I don't care. A cycle to me is just a haphazard stat. I'll go with the home run and the extra RBI. But that's just me. I think a lot of people would take the cycle just to be able to say that in their career they hit for the cycle. But I don't know. I'd take the extra home run. How about you?
I'm one of those guys, I guess. Well, first of all, I'd love to have that talent to even do that. But
well, me too.
You would be remembered more for the cycle. But I don't know. I guess I'm with you. I'd rather have 2 runs batted in right now instead of 1.
Yeah. And rather than have, at the end of the season, Ian's going to hit whatever, 3, 4, 5 triples. But that extra home run might be the difference between 29 and 30.
Right.
24 and 25. Who knows?
Rangers went a long time between cycles, between Oddibe McDowell's cycle and Mark Teixeira's cycle. Then Gary Matthews had one in Detroit.
It hasn't gone real well for Lees yet.
Nope.
Still not going too good.
Ian Kinsler didn't get a triple, but he has singled home another Ranger run. It's 12-3. Ian is 4 for 4 in the first 4 innings.
He's given up a home run, a walk, a triple, and a single. Now, if Michael Young hits a double, this guy's served up the cycle in 5 batters.
And the walk. I mean, that's pretty much everything bad that can happen.
That's better than a cycle. Yeah, without the error, who knows what happens this inning. But when they've made pitches in that center of the rectangle, they have not fared well today. The Rangers have jumped on those pitches, and a lot of other ones too.
5 straight 2-out base runners now. And Michael Young reaching on the error is what started this whole mess, really.
Well, he is 4 for 4 in 4 innings. That's a pretty good day.
He's on pace to go 8 for 8. It doesn't look like there's going to be a bottom of the 9th. How about just to have 11 opportunities with runners in scoring position by the 4th inning? Then the cash in at 6 out of 11. That's pretty good too. Now the hard throwing but shell shocked Radimus Lees. Talked about him as a Daniel Cabrera archetype, a guy that throws real hard but sometimes just doesn't know where it's going. Cabrera now a Washington National, by the way. Rangers trailed 3-1 heading to the bottom of the 3rd. In danger at that point of making it 6 straight in the loss column. But you're feeling a lot better about things tonight. 12-3 in the 4th inning. Some good patient at bats from Michael Young in this series. Boy, if only the Orioles middle relief had been like this yesterday.
Different guys.
To center field, Adam Jones coming on, makes the catch to end the carnage. A Nelly Cruz grand slam was the highlight. 8 runs in the bottom of the 4th. It is 12-3 Texas. Nelson Cruz with his 2nd career big league grand slam. And the Rangers ahead 12-3. And Chris Benson, he's now in position to get a win if he can pitch through this 5th inning. It'll be his first win in the big league since 2006.
He had a long wait on the bench that inning.
Yeah. And you know, having thrown 57 pitches through 2 innings, Tag, it didn't look promising that Benson would be around long enough to be in contention for a win. But he had a quick 3rd and a quick 4th.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's feeling all that strong right now. The last 2 fastballs have only been 84 miles an hour. Well, it's been a good turnaround for Chris. A little shaky, especially in the second inning. Didn't have much command early in the game, but he's battled back.
Adam Jones, who has certainly worked on his patience. Had a bases loaded walk in the second inning. He's up 3-1 here.
Probably the biggest out that Chris has had all day.
That ball shot out there to right center, taking off for Nelly Cruz, doing it all. He's got it.
Biggest out was bases loaded, 2 outs in the second inning when he got Markakis to pop up a high fastball to left field. Could have been a big inning for the Orioles, but he shut the door and has pretty much shut the door on the Orioles since that time too.
Very happy the trend didn't continue after the second inning. Now here is the aforementioned Markakis. And indeed, we've been told, Tom, the 3 runs that Lee's allowed that inning, they're earned to him,
right,
but not to the team.
Right. A couple of errors for the Orioles, and boy, they didn't get away with them. They were costly errors. Ten unearned runs. And watched all the line drives. They sure looked earned.
Markakis sends one deep at the wall. It stays in the yard. It bounces right to Hamilton. It's going to be a double. That's the second time tonight that Nelly Cruz has been close to taking one off the wall. And didn't quite get there. Markakis ends up at second base.
He's getting a chance to run down some long balls today. Looked like Markakis hit this well enough to be out of here. Hit right off the top of the wall. Just missed it by about a foot.
Now out of Brewer High School, not too far from here. Here is Aubrey Huff. Strike one. They've got an excited crowd now, too. Eating those dollar hot dogs or doing the wave. They're watching their team ahead by 9.
With all the time to eat the hot dogs, ninth inning today is going to be brought to you by Rolaids.
Nelly Cruz on the mark. He's got it.
2 hours and 4 innings, boy. You got a shot at eating a lot of hot dogs tonight.
A gastrointestinal delight for you this evening.
Great night for the concession stands.
Limit of 5 at a time, though. They make that perfectly clear out there. Probably a good idea.
You know those North Texas football players have put away a few tonight.
Hot dogs, too. Ground ball, Michael Young.
Oh, boy, Chris.
Benson has qualified for a victory. Pitching 5 innings tonight. Rangers ahead 12-3. 12-3 Texas. That is a nice way to try to make sure you're breaking out of a losing streak. Put 12 on the board through 4 innings. An 8-run bottom of the 4th. And a night where Josh Hamilton really hasn't had to do that much. He had an RBI single in the 1st. Rip and a miss against a hard-throwing Rodimus Lees. Rangers trying to get to a 4-5 record, getting ready for Kansas City. The Royals have already played and lost today. They'll be 5-4 when they get here. Cleveland beat them today. Red Sox beat the A's 8-2. Tim Wakefield took a no-hitter into the 8th in that game. Yankees over the Rays today 4-3. Mariano Rivera saves it. Robinson Cano has hit his 2nd home run of the year in that one. That's probably appropriate. A guy named for Jackie Robinson on Jackie Robinson Day around baseball hit one out. Also, the Blue Jays leading Minnesota 9-2, 7th inning. Now Josh Hamilton called out on strikes. Josh had only struck out twice all year until the last couple of innings. Now he's struck out twice in the last 2 innings.
That's a tough combination of pitches. The pitch right before it was high at 94 miles an hour. The next one catches the lower part of the strike zone at 94 miles an hour.
Andrew Jones, couple of walks and a fielder's choice tonight. Takes the strike. Over the National League, those red-hot Florida Marlins, 5 in the 9th. They're beating Atlanta 10-4 now. The Fish could be 7-1. Taking it to Andrew Jones's longtime team, Atlanta. Astros trying to get off the mat. They've got a 4-1 lead in Pittsburgh tonight. So far, the Astros just 1-6. The Mets have defeated the Padres 7-2. Brewers leading Cincinnati 8-3 in the 7th. A pair of home runs for Mike Cameron in that game. Andrew Jones hammers one left center field. Back towards the bullpen. Off the wall. And Jones will roll into second base, narrowly missing another Ranger home run. I think he thought it was gone.
I admire the way Andrew Jones has handled himself since he joined the Rangers. I think it's unusual for a guy that's accomplished what he's accomplished in the game to come here with such a humble attitude. He just loves being on the team, and every time he plays, he takes advantage of his opportunity. Swinging the bat well right now.
Right on the Geico sign. Rangers set a record last year for most doubles in one season by a big league team. Tonight, doubles by Bird. And now Jones. Kinsler's got one. And a triple from Elvis Andrus. Kinsler's got a home run. Nelly Cruz has a grand slam.
Rudy Jaramillo around the batting cage said it well when he was talking about Andrew Jones today. He said, you know, he's had an incredible career. He's been a star. He's played in all-star games. He's played in the World Series. But right now, he just wants to be a good teammate. He wants to be a guy that the rest of the players look up to. And he's sure done a good job of that early in the season. I think he is a guy that the rest of the guys look up to.
Blaylock sends one towards that stripe in left field. Felix Pie on the move. Rangers and Royals this weekend, and don't forget on Saturday the first 7,500 kids 13 and under get that red Josh Hamilton jersey. Compliments of Dryers. 972 Rangers, the number to call for your tickets, or go to TexasRangers.com. Marlon Byrd 2 hits tonight. Marlins 2 former teams were supposed to play today, but the Phillies and the Nationals were postponed due to rain. Washington still looking for its first win of the year, Tag. They're 0-7. Wave and a miss. 95-mile-an-hour heat. A couple of games that were played. St. Louis behind a big day from Ryan Ludwig over Arizona 12-7. And the Rockies beat the Cubs at Wrigley 5-2. Up and away 2-1. Giants and Dodgers just underway, no score. Right here 12-3. A smash into left field, another base hit for Marlon Byrd.
There have been enough ropes tonight to last a week. Marlon's had his share of them too. Marlon's had 3 hits in a row, and each hit has driven in a run.
And the one time he was out tonight, that was the robbery by Ty Wigginton over there at third.
Ball hard every time up.
Pretty similar play, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah. One before it took a little bit bigger hop, but each one hit equally as well.
That's going to do it for Rodimus Lees in a 13-3 game. So the Orioles go to the bullpen yet again. We'll come back and tell you about that new Baltimore pitcher after this. It's the Rangers by 10. Standings for you. The Royals right up there at the top in a tightly packed AL Central.
Looks like a pretty even race this year.
Brian Bass, the new pitcher, and he deals here to Nelly Cruz. Yeah, it's tough to pick a winner out of that AL Central. I agree.
I was impressed with the Tigers, though. I like their starting pitching.
A lot of people are saying, watch out for Kansas City. They see them as
their starting pitching too, and we're going to see 3 good ones in here.
A lot of pundits saying that's your sleeper team this year, Kansas City.
I don't know if they'll score enough runs, but they might not have to if their starting pitching holds up. Greinke, Gilmesh, Davies. We're going to see all 3 of those kids. They all have good arms. Soria is a real good closer. They signed Juan Cruz to be a setup man. So, yeah, they're an improved team.
By the way, did you notice Brian Bass has allowed 5 home runs in 5 innings, and he's now taken on the Texas Rangers. Rangers lead baseball in home runs. They got 5 just from Nelson Cruz this year. One of them tonight. That was a grand slam.
Well, in 4 2/3, they have literally hit as many line drives tonight as you would normally see in about 5 games from a normal team. Slight exaggeration there.
Only slight, though. Runner goes, and a ground ball near third. That's foul. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 3-2, wasn't it? I thought it was 2-2, and I'm thinking, why is he running up 10?
Yeah.
My bad.
3-2-2.
3-2 with 2 out. That now makes a lot of sense. Bass in relief of Lees, who came on for Hendrickson. And there is strike 3. The Rangers get 1 more. And a 13-3 lead at the end of 5. Rangers on a comfortable night. Chris Benson continues against his former team. And the very first pitch of the 6th inning is going to be fouled into the crowd. Probably an example here, Tag, of what we've talked about a lot all through spring training. That new edict that, hey, if you're a starting pitcher for the Rangers, 5 and dive, that's not happening. Even though it's 13-3, Benson's thrown 94 pitches. The expectation is you got to go 6 in this one.
Well, I'll give Chris some credit because he's battling on a night where I think he'd be the first to say he doesn't have his best stuff. But he navigated through a couple of tough innings early in the game, through a lot of pitches. He's had 3 straight shutout innings, and if he can have a shutout inning here in the 6th, he has a quality start. And a lot of times you'll see a pitcher struggle like that early, not be able to get out of the 2nd inning, and all of a sudden you've had to use the bullpen in the 2nd or 3rd inning. But Chris has done a really good job of pitching tonight.
Yeah,
and as a veteran guy, that's kind of what you got him out there for, to battle through on a night where you don't have your best stuff. A younger kid enters a game without his best stuff and maybe doesn't have the know-how and the ability to pitch through it, but Chris has done that tonight. I think you have to give him a lot of credit for that.
He just flipped a curveball up there to Luke Scott for out number 1.
And it'll shape up pretty good with the big lead too, because the bullpen was used a lot last night and the night before. You got an off day tomorrow, and so going into the game on Friday, CJ, Frankie, Jason, all those guys will be well rested, assuming you don't have to use them tonight. Hopefully that'll be the case.
Plenty of hitting stars for the Rangers tonight. Already a 4-hit game for Ian Kinsler. He's got a home run. He's got a stolen base. Marlon Byrd, 3 straight hits. All of them RBI hits. Nelly Cruz has a grand slam tonight. Two and 1 to the left-handed hitting Felix Pa. Nelly Cruz. I mean, here we are, the 9th game of the season tag. We were talking 5 home runs and 10 runs batted in. On the ground, first base. And Blaylock touches up, 2 down.
After the walk to Adam Jones in the 2nd inning, Chris has only given up 2 hits since then. A single to Scott and a double to Markakis. He had 3 walks by the 2nd inning, hasn't walked another batter since.
Chad Moeller playing instead of Greg Zahn tonight. Out of a pretty good high school program out in California. Jeff Jenkins, Jacques Jones, Morgan Ensberg, Randy Flores, all from that same high school, Upton High School in California. They went on to play collegiately at USC. Benson, it looks like Tag is going to end up with fewer pitches thrown in the innings 3 through 6 than in innings 1 and 2.
What do you have through 250?
57. That ball hit by Moeller deep into left field, and that ball takes off. It's a home run. Chad Moeller, only his, let's see here, his 3rd home run as an American leaguer. He did have a couple of seasons for the Diamondbacks where he hit a few home runs over in the National League, but not a guy that hits them that often. He has hit one here to make it 13-4. Now Cesar is Torres. That breaks the run of 12 unanswered runs for the Rangers. Hey, strike 2 is Torres. Looks like the Orioles have a pinch hitter on deck. That's Robert Andino. Will be hitting instead of Roberts. Wearing number 42. The tribute to Jackie Robinson all across baseball tonight. All players, managers, coaches wearing 42. We've talked about his Torres as a tough guy to put away. Doesn't seem to swing and miss. Two strikes on him here, though. Now the count full. There is action in the Ranger bullpen. Pitch count for Benson up to 110. In the air right field. Cruz started in, now drifting back to the warning track. He's got it. And that should do it for Chris Benson tonight. 13-4, he's got the lead. And Ian Kinsler coming in to hit. He's got a chance to go for the cycle when we come back. Time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. The jackpot worth $700 plus tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for two at Sonic. Good luck to Bridget Montgomery from DeSoto. If a Ranger hits the Grand Slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. We've already seen a Ranger Grand Slam tonight. That from Nelson Cruz. Here's Jared Saltalamacchia against Brian Bass. Robert Andino is in the game. That's Andino there. Ryan Friel, as you can read, is now in right field. So those are the two defensive changes. There's Friel. And on the mound, the former Minnesota Twin, Brian Bass. Actually, Kansas City Royals property originally. When he got to the big leagues on the watch of those Minnesota Twins. He stays away from Saltalamacchia. We mentioned Bass has already allowed 5 home runs this year in 5 innings. Chipped into left field and grabbed by PA. Elvis Andrus comes up. He tripled his last time up, and again, as Ian Kinsler moves on deck, we note that he's a triple away from getting that cycle. Only 3 Rangers have ever cycled. Single, double, triple homer in one game. The Rangers have seen it happen to them 7 times. Last year, right here, Adrian Beltre did it for Seattle. Needed the triple and got the triple. The Gary Matthews cycle for the Rangers was one of those rare ones in that he did it in the natural order. That is, single first, then the double, then the triple, then the homer. Teixeira needed the single, and he got it. Oddibe McDowell needed the homer, and he got it, but he didn't do it in that order, the single, double, triple, homer. There's a walk. Andrus had never walked in the big leagues in his first 7 games. He's walked twice now in the last 3 innings. And a chance for Kinsler to make a little Ranger history right here. just to hit anywhere, he would tie a career high with a 5-hit game. He did that one time. It was against these Baltimore Orioles a year ago.
He came into the game hitting .375. He's hitting .444 right now. He's knocked in 11 runs.
Wow. As a leadoff man. Think about that. The Rangers' leading RBI guy this year is their leadoff hitter.
Well, he's got 3 home runs and a bunch of doubles to go along with it.
Well, he's hitting .444. Michael Young is above .300. Andrew Jones above .500. Hitting has not been the problem. Down and outside to Kinsler. The Tucson, Arizona native. His dad from back in New York has to be real excited about the opening of Citi Field, growing up a big-time Mets fan. His dad had moved to Tucson to become the warden of the state prison down there in Tucson. .800 inmate facility in Tucson. Kinsler fouls it back. Actually, I think Ian's dad went west originally to play some basketball at the University of Arizona. Was, I think, how he first got to Tucson. Kinsler sends it to right center field. What do you think? Heading all the way back there. Can he get that triple?
He's got it.
The 4th Ranger to hit for the cycle is Ian Kinsler.
Fans know it too, don't they?
He hit it to the perfect part of the ballpark, and the only question was whether or not it would bounce out for an automatic double. It didn't. And Ian Kinsler becomes the 4th Ranger ever to hit for the cycle.
That was almost exactly what we were talking about. Would you rather have a triple or a 2-run homer? Because it was almost a 2-run homer, too. What a night.
Oh, yeah.
The fans, they love the cycle. It's like you just hit a grand slam to win the game.
Only the 4th time a Ranger has done it.
Got a good chance to hit again, too. He's 5 for 5.
Yeah.
Got a chance to go 6 for 6 in this game.
Slowly hit towards short. Michael Young cashes in Ian Kinsler to make it 15-4. Look at that big smile for Ian.
What a night.
He's got a chance at another record. Remember, Mark Teixeira had the 7 runs batted in when he had the cycle. He was the only guy ever to hit for the cycle and have that many RBI. And depending on how many times Ian gets up there again with runners on, we'll see if he can make a run at that. 5 for 5. We're in the 6th inning. And a high fly ball from Josh Hamilton right down the line. Foul. Now, we mused earlier that a guy that plays in a style reminiscent of Jackie Robinson, it would be appropriate on the night that baseball honors Jackie Robinson if Ian could pull this off, and how he's done it.
He was making sure, too, boy. He went in flying.
Hamilton base hit right field. Well, the Rangers are venting some pent-up frustration tonight.
Oh, there's a couple of tough losses, too. You know, the first night it was 10-9. Michael hit that ball off the wall. Could have almost been a home run. Instead, Markakis caught the ball. That was a game-saving play in a game the Rangers almost came back, lost 10-9. Last night they came back in a game down 4 in the 10th inning. Hank hit one to the wall and right. Markakis caught it. Nelly Cruz hit one 400 feet to dead center that was caught on the warning track. They almost came back and won that game. Not leaving any doubt about this one, though. There's Kinsler flying into third. He's not done yet either.
Ian's been good for about 3 triples a year. Wow, what a play by Wigginton. And he fires. He got him. Boy, if the Orioles didn't have Wigginton at third tonight, it'll be even messier for them. He's been terrific. 2 runs in, and Ian Kinsler hitting for the cycle here in Arlington tonight. He needed the triple. He got it. Been fun tonight. Ian Kinsler, the 4th Ranger ever to hit for the cycle, and there's still a third of the ball game to go. The triple to make it 14-4, and then Ian scored to make it 15-4 on a ground ball by Michael Young. Willie Ayers is going to take over out there on the mound. And the first time that Willie will pitch in the big leagues this year. He's made it all the way back from some arm surgery. And started this year at AAA. Never did get to Oklahoma City. He was on the road in Memphis and Nashville. He was telling us before the game he had plans this morning to go downtown to Nashville, buy some boots down there on Broadway. And
well, he's got an off day tomorrow. He ought to be able to find some boots around here.
Change of plans. Had to get on a plane and jet on into DFW. That's fine with him. Out of Taylorsville, Utah, Willie Ayers. Again, Warner Madrigal getting sent down. The Rangers kind of shuffling the deck as far as the bullpen goes. Chris Benson went 6 innings. And again, it was a testimony to his courage out there tonight that he was able to give the Rangers 6. It did not look after 2 innings like it would be a long night for Chris Benson, but he absolutely persevered.
He did. He threw a lot of pitches in the first 2 innings, but like a veteran who really knows how to pitch, he battled through it and had followed up that with 4 good innings. Only gave up the home run in the 6th, but 1 run in the last 4 innings that he pitched. And so that was big. He's got a great chance to earn his first win as a Ranger, but probably more importantly on a night when the bullpen had been taxed the night before, and you didn't really want to go to the bullpen early. The last 4 innings that Chris put up there really helped do that.
Again, Willie Ayers shut down all of last year because of that reconstructive Tommy John surgery. That ball fouled away. And Dino, formerly of the Marlins organization, his first at bat tonight. Again, the Marlins off to that quick start this year. Walked him. So it's 1 on. Rangers up by 11 as we go to Jim Knox.
All right, Josh and Tom, was there any doubt? A progressive fan of the game. Robbie in the clown suit. They've been doing everything. I've been on the other side of the stadium. They've been doing the bird. What else you guys been doing out here, Robbie?
We've been cheering for Josh, Hank. Ian Kinsler got the cycle tonight, Josh. Man, we're just glad to be here. This feels better than winning a national championship. Just kidding, Coach Josh. Just kidding.
All right, well, congratulations. We'll let you finish up strong.
Go Mean Green.
Hamilton with some closing speed out there runs it down. Well, good luck.
Well, it's the fan of the night, Jim, but he had a lot of support from his buddies out there.
Definitely. About how many hot dogs we eat between everyone? 50 here. Yeah. You lay off there, big guy.
I'll tell you.
On University of North Texas night at the ballpark. Mean Green representing. Ryan Friel, the batter. He'll take a strike. Friel's former team, the Reds, a 9-3 loser tonight. Milwaukee got him. Dodgers and Giants are tied 1-1 early. That game's in the second inning. Marlins beat the Braves 10-4. The Floridians are 7-1. That is going to be an unbelievably competitive division, I think, that National League East. I think the Braves are good this year.
You know, the Phillies and the Mets are good.
Right. And here are the Marlins 7-1 with a lot of exciting young talent. To third, Michael Young couldn't pick it up cleanly, and Friel is safe. That'll be an infield hit for Friel, his first hit of the year.
Couldn't quite get to him right off the end of Michael's glove.
Two on, one out. Well, unless Ian Kinsler is pulled from the game, he will bat again. He's got a shot at a 6-hit night tonight.
And one thing about those 5 hits too is they weren't little bloopers or choppers. They were all hitting the good part of the bat. 5 good swings and 5 ropes tonight.
Hot shot. Looking to turn 2. Kinsler makes it happen. Ian's in the middle of everything tonight. And at the 7th inning stretch here in Arlington, 15-4 Rangers. Baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines, also by Steel and by Heineken. That's right, Rangers 15 and Baltimore 4, a night that Ian Kinsler successfully hit for the cycle. 4th ever Ranger to do it, and he can become the 2nd ever Ranger with a 6-hit ball game. Alfonso Soriano did it in 2004 in that wacky 16-15 game against the Tigers. That was a 10-inning game. Ian Kinsler has become the first purely right-handed batter to hit for the cycle as a Texas Ranger. A couple of switch hitters and a lefty in that mix before Ian. And a shot to go 6 for 6. 7 for 7 is the all-time standard in the big leagues. In a 9-inning game, that was Rennie Stennett in that 22-0 game that the Cubs and the Pirates played at Wrigley back in 1975. Native of Panama, Rennie Stennett. And that one had a pretty cool story to it, Tag. He had a bad ankle, wasn't even supposed to play that day, but after 4 hits, Rennie Stennett told the trainer to tell Danny Murtaugh, the manager, to take him out because of the ankle. But Murtaugh said, "I want to keep him in there until he makes an out." and he never did. In the 8th inning, he hit a line drive past Champ Summers for a triple. And his 7th hit of the game, 7 for 7. Blaylock down on strikes. Asking for 7 at bats in an 8-inning game would be greedy tonight. Rangers don't look like they'll need a bottom of the 9th, but Ian would get a chance to hit for a 6th time tonight.
Marlin hasn't had 5 hits, but he's got 3 hits, and he's hit the ball hard 4 times himself. Marlin's been right on everything in this game.
Even the out we mentioned was a hard out. He was robbed by Wigginton at 3rd. Boy, Nelly Cruz hits a grand slam tonight. Bird creams the ball 4 times, and nobody will write about that tomorrow. It's going to be about Kinsler. That's a strike. That's got to be the earliest in a while that somebody's hit for the cycle. Get it done by the 6th inning. By the way, the Blue Jays now leading at Minnesota 12-2 in the 9th. So that's not the only lopsided game going tonight. Angels and Mariners scoreless in the 3rd. Tigers beat the White Sox today 9-zip. 2nd win already for Armando Galarraga.
With Eric Bedard back and throwing the ball well, Felix Hernandez with another year under his belt, and Washburn pitched a really good game his first game. Their starting pitching's looking pretty good.
Bass flailing at it, but there is hit number 4 for Marlon Byrd. Well, how about that? You go 4 for 5, and by 2 hits, potentially, you are not the leading hitter on the team.
Marlon came into the game at 278. He's got his average up in the upper 300s now. And they move a lot, averages, with fewer at-bats. Fun to watch early in the season, though.
Don't forget Sunday against the Royals. All fans get a new Red Rangers cap. Compliments of Fox Sports Southwest. 972 Rangers, the number to call to get your tickets. Look out. Chad Moeller had that one bounced away. He's got no idea where it is. And had the Rangers wanted to, they could have coaxed Marlon Byrd to 3rd, but it's almost too much right now. And again, with that new brick wall behind home plate, we're going to see some different bounces this year on wild pitches. Nelly Cruz had the grand slam in the 4th. The Orioles have to go to Boston next. They'll get in the wee small hours. But they've got the day off tomorrow. They can sleep off the effects of this one. They'll stick around in Boston long enough for that Patriots Day game. They got the Boston Marathon next Monday. Remember, the Rangers reported that very recently. Play that 11:05 a.m. game, Boston time. Kind of unfair to schedule a West Coast team to go in there and do that. Ask the fans to tune in at 8 a.m. local for a game.
I love the 11 o'clock game.
Well, sure.
You're out of there at 2 o'clock. It's almost like a day off, really.
You get a workout in, and then you go to the Atlantic Fish Company by 5.
Can't beat it. Beat the crowd.
Only one chance for you to get that great halibut in Boston this year, or whatever you get there.
No, that's where I get the fried clams.
Oh, fried clams is
the halibut cheeks. That's San Francisco.
That's right. Center field off the bat of Nelly Cruz to the track. He just missed. That would have been a 2-homer, 6 RBI night for Nelly.
You know, you look at Nelly on the season, he's got 5 home runs already. And in the last 2 days alone, he's hit 2 balls 400 feet to the wall that were caught.
Dave Tremblay is heading to the mound. He's getting real good at making pitching changes with 2 out in every inning. Ryan Bass is at 47 pitches. And that one barely stayed in the yard. So a 15-4 lead. We'll come back and tell you about the new Orioles pitcher in just a moment here on Fox Sports Southwest. A 15-4 lead, but of course we kind of brought back down a little bit, in fact quite a bit. We learned today before the ball game began that the great Merle Harmon, voice of the Rangers back in the 80s, and of course worked football quite a bit as well for the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets. He was the guy that brought along Bob Uecker in that Milwaukee Brewers broadcast booth and worked so beautifully with a number of partners over the years. One of them was Jackie Robinson. When Jackie Robinson retired and the network wanted to try to make Jackie into a commentator, it was Merle Harmon that paired with Jackie Robinson for his 1 year in the booth. And as baseball celebrates the legacy of Jackie Robinson tonight, well, unfortunately, in conjunction with that, we here in the Metroplex, and I'm sure nationally, people are mourning the passing of Merle Harmon. Ground ball to second base off the bat of Saltalamacchia. And that will do it, at least for now. Kinsler due to bat one more time tonight. We'll see if he can get his 6th hit. Right now he's got 5 in the cycle. Folks, when you're away from home and you can't watch your beloved Texas Rangers, you can catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. The ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 out-of-market games per week on your computer, live or on demand. For more details, go to TexasRangers.com, where baseball's always on. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com as well. Don't forget to email the booth by going to FoxSports.com. Keyword email Rangers. We might have some time to get to some emails in a 15-4 game tonight. Willie Air deals to Wigginton, who's been a star defensively tonight. The one thing a couple of emailers have noticed and pointed out and written about is how Nelly Cruz seems to be a much more patient hitter than when he first came up with the Rangers, and I would totally agree with that. I see a lot of deep counts now from Nelson Cruz.
I think that's true, and I think basically he's just a much more relaxed guy. He feels like he belongs. He knows he's a major part of the lineup now, and rather than trying to feel like he's got to get a couple of hits every night to stay in the lineup, he knows he can go 0 for 10, 0 for 12 and stay in the lineup. So I think patience and being a better hitter goes along with being more relaxed, more confident, and feeling like he's a big leaguer now.
Got an email from Ranger fan Tim, wants to know what happened to former Ranger first-round pick John Mayberry Jr. He got dealt to the Phillies this offseason. Greg Golson out of Austin coming the other way in that deal. He had been a first-round pick of the Phillies.
Yeah, John had a nice spring training. I think for a while in spring training it looked like he might have a chance to make the Phillies, but he didn't. He's been sent to the minor leagues.
Luke Scott takes down too low. Scott had himself a nice game yesterday, that 7-5 win for Baltimore, and he's followed up with 2 out of 3 tonight. Crowd of about 17,500 here tonight to watch this one. Saltalamacchia is going to throw out Scott. Scott was a guy that hit for the cycle as a Houston Astro. We had an emailer point that out. He did that when he first came up in 2006, I believe it was. Up from Nolan Ryan's Round Rock team, where Jackie Moore was the manager. Of course, Jackie's now the Ranger bench coach. Flicked away foul by Felix P.A. Andrews, Kinsler, and Young set to come up for the Rangers in the bottom of the 8th. And again, Kinsler already with the cycle tonight has a chance at a 6-hit game. And if Willie Air happens to pitch all 3 innings the rest of the way, he would actually get a save in this thing, right? Mm-hmm. Just like Wes Littleton got the save in the 30-3 game, which is just silly. That's a nice play over there, huh? Fire it up slightly. He says it hit.
So I took it in the face and still got it.
And bragging about it.
Took its best shot.
Willie Air takes care of Felix PA. The Rangers taking care of the Orioles tonight. All right, let's see if Ian Kinsler has got a 6-hit game in him. 15-4 our score. The shouting. The Rangers leading 15-4 tonight. And Andrews hammers it into left field. It's a base hit. And now Ian Kinsler to the plate, trying to become the first Ranger ever to have a 6-hit game that didn't go extra innings. This would be 6 hits in only 8 innings, as a matter of fact, if he can get it done against Matt Albers.
A nice night for Elvis. He's walked twice. He's had a triple. He's had a single. He's scored 3 times. Nice production from the bottom of the order. Hit the ball hard twice. That was a rope. One of many tonight for the Rangers.
This is an encore at bat for Ian. It has been suggested by our outstanding camera person, Larry Allen, that maybe a capper here would be an inside the park home run. He's done everything else tonight. In the air, left center field. Well, you know what? Maybe. This ball goes and sits down all the way out there. Kinsler rumbles to second base, and he'll just pull up with a double. And a 6-hit game for Ian Kinsler.
Oh, nice. Sitting about 470 now.
They're not worthy.
He's had 4 different hits that have driven in a run tonight as well.
Alfonso Soriano, the other Ranger second baseman to have achieved a 6-hit game.
That's not a terrible pitch either. It's a pretty good curveball down in the strike zone. You know, he had a hit last night, or line drive in the 10th inning, so he's had 7 straight hits.
Last year, Johnny Damon, we were told, had the only 6-hit game in the majors. That is in a 9-inning game. And again, the Rangers won't need a 9th inning tonight. They're already leading 16-4. That ball getting away. And Kinsler out after a little hesitation, basically says, why not? I got to. I'll go to third. It'll be a fun box score to look at tomorrow. Right now for Ian, it's 6-4, 6-4. At bats, runs, hits, and runs batted in. He scored 4 runs. Andrews has scored 4 runs. That's 8 runs from the double play combination for the Rangers tonight. Inside to Michael Young. Let's not forget it's been a 4-hit night for Marlon Byrd. Inside. Boy, still nobody out. This is when Nick Swisher came in to pitch for the New York Yankees the other night. Some of the Ranger batting averages right now. Marlon Byrd's at .391. Kinsler's at .474. Andrew Jones at .545.
Ian tonight will move right into the top 3 or 4 in most offensive categories. RBIs, runs, doubles, batting average, you name it.
13 runs batted in already, and again what we marvel at is that he's the Rangers leadoff hitter. That's not supposed to be your big time RBI slot, but as of right now Ian Kinsler leading the league in runs batted in.
If you look at Ian's season last year, he got hurt after playing 120 games. He's going to play almost every day. So if you just kind of prorate his statistics over the rest of the season, he would have scored about 125 runs. He would have hit 50 doubles. He would have hit 20+ home runs. Would have knocked in 90 runs. And he would have been statistically right there with Dustin Pedroia, who was the MVP. And so far this season, he's done nothing but pretty much improve on everything he did last year.
No roof on that house. I think a 30-30 season is an absolute possibility for Ian. Wave and a miss. 2 out of 6 tonight now for Josh Hamilton. And the batter will be Andrew Jones. You almost don't want the off day now. The Rangers are rolling tonight. Then they got to hit the pause button. Got the day off tomorrow. And Kansas City coming in Friday. Look out. Hit him with the first run. Fans boo. Hank Blaylock will come up with the bases loaded.
I don't think that's intentional. It doesn't feel good to Andrew, but kid just got called up. He's just struggling right now with his command. He threw a couple of pitches that almost hit Michael. The ball just got away from him, but I'm not going to make Andrew feel any better. You get hit in the rib cage like that.
Two walks and now a hit by pitch for Andrew Jones tonight. And here is Blaylock against Matt Albers. Blaylock's last at bat yesterday, boy, he got just under one. What would have been a game winner for the Rangers in the 10th inning, but his long drive was caught right on the warning track out there in right field. No place to put him. It's 2-0.
This game's going to work out well for the bullpen. Willie will pitch 2 innings.
Left center field for the hammer. Oh, what a play by Felix P.A. Hustling back to first is Andrew Jones. That thing had 3 runs batted in, written all over it. Instead, the Rangers get 1 run off of that drive.
You talk about just plain outrunning the baseball. That's what PA did right there. He had to go a long way for that ball on the dead sprint. Looked for sure like a 3-run double. But that's where speed comes into play. He just outran it, reached as far as he could, made a beautiful play.
Kinsler cashed in, though, so it's not only a 6-hit night for Ian, it's a 5 runs scored night for Ian.
But knock in 4, get 6 hits, hit for the cycle, score 5.
He has tied a bunch of Ranger records tonight. The 5 runs, the 6 hits, and getting the cycle done. Marlon Byrd has a 5-run game as a Ranger. That was that 30-3 game against his same Baltimore team. Pete O'Brien was the first Ranger to score 5 in a game. Then it was Luis Alicea. Kevin Mensch did it. Then the Rangers had both Byrd and Saltalamacchia do it in 1 game. Marlon looking for a 5-hit night. Two on, 2 out. And a strike. Hard to believe this is a team that was 2 hit by the Tigers a few days ago. "17 hits tonight. Another hard hit ball by Marlon Byrd. And Dave Anderson, invoking a little bit of mercy here, will hold the runner. But Nelly Cruz is coming up, and he's already got a grand slam tonight.
Well, you talk about, you're right, talk about the night that Ian had, but Marlon has hit the ball hard every single time up himself.
Well, Nelly would share headlines with Ian Kinsler if he can come up with a 2 grand slam game.
6 hits for Ian, 5 hits for Marlon, and 6 ropes.
Shattered bat, and the ball is popped up. It is out of play. So Nelly gets another chance, and the fans really wanted to see that. Well, it's been a big night for the record books, and Nelson Cruz trying to get there too with a 2 grand slam evening. He's already banked 1. I guess the ultimate would have been Fernando Tatis, right, when he hit the 2-in-1 inning off the same guy off Chan-Ho Park. It was tough to give up 2 grand slams.
You could give up a grand slam and still be in there in the same inning for the same guy to do it again.
Well, that ball gets away, but the grand slam possibility is still in play. That brick wall might have saved it because the ball bounced right back, and the Rangers weren't going to take chances up 17-4. On a night that Marlon Byrd has tied a career high with 5 hits, and Ian Kinsler has a new career high with 6 hits. Nelly Cruz already with a grand slam, batting here with the bases loaded.
Well, the other guy that's had a game is Elvis has scored 4 runs tonight.
Yep. Well, here's a great chance for Nelly to make history. There's no place to put him. So you got to throw a strike. You got to give him something if you're Matt Albers.
Well, the momentum's gone in Ian's corner, but if he hits one out right here, it goes back to Nelly.
Big swing! 2 grand slams for Nelly. Is it happening? Not quite. He just missed. 2-run score on a double. Boy, and he just missed a home run his last at bat, too. He drove it to the warning track in right center. This time he nails it off the wall and left. It is 19-4.
And not trying to be disrespectful to the Orioles, but this game has really looked like batting practice. It's hard to hit this many hard hit balls in one game.
Oh, that close for Nelly to a 2 grand slam game. Well, the Rangers and Orioles have played some of the all-timers, boy. Had a 26-7 game. They've had a 30-3 game. This game gets the bronze medal, 19-4 so far.
Yeah, the key to that 30-run game is you're playing on the road, so you get the extra at bat in the 9th inning. Don't get that at home.
Saltalamacchia was a big part of that game. No action in the Baltimore bullpen. They would go to a position player if it gets to the point where Albers can't get the last out.
Remember, the second out of this inning was that 380-foot fly ball that Hank hit to left field.
Well, that's a great point.
Almost a double or a triple.
Looked like it, yeah, looked like it would have been. Felix PA ran it down. Did it hit him or did it bounce?
I think it hit him with a breaking ball. No, I guess not. Sure looked like it hit him.
Dirt and then glove of the catcher.
It's like the ball to Adam Jones last night.
Yeah.
I don't know how that pitch missed him, went right through his legs. That one just went right around Jared.
Two on, 2 out. The beleaguered Matt Albers deals. And he is finally out of the inning. The losing streak is going to end convincingly. 19-4 Texas. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. By Infinity, luxury cars that inspire at every turn. By Progressive, for a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the all-new F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. On a night that all of baseball pays tribute to Jackie Robinson, wearing his number 42. Every player in baseball tonight. Ian Kinsler might lobby to wear that every game going forward. A 6-hit game. Nelly Cruz with a 6 RBI game. Kinsler's hit for the cycle tonight, and the Rangers lead by 15 runs here in the 9th inning. Josh Roop will be asked to pitch for the final 3 outs and get the Rangers to the off day in a really, really good mood. Grounder to Andrews. Don't forget, Rangers Live comes up after the game. There will be a lot to break down tonight. Andrews with 4 runs and Cruz with 6 runs batted in. Kinsler hitting for the cycle.
Yeah,
all right, Buzz, John, you guys taking copious notes on this one? I mean,
ran out of room
a little while ago.
Yeah, ran out of room in the scorebook. If only there was something to talk about in Rangers Live tonight.
I'm sure you guys will be ready. We'll try to get it to you real soon here.
Good.
As we get deeper into the night. All right, talk to you soon, fellas. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
There are some nights where I'm sure they're wishing that show could be like 8 minutes because there's nothing to talk about. This one could
Not tonight.
No, this one could go 40. Chris Benson will get the win. He's pitched in a couple of blowouts, 1 for, 1 against, 15-2 and 19-4. Not exactly nail biters when Chris Benson is your starter so far. Another ground ball. Here's Andrews. Got it. Firing. Zing. Right across to get his tourist. So the Rangers will get to 4-5. The Orioles, well, kind of the same script for them. Every series they've played so far this year, they've won the first 2 games and lost the 3rd game. This time rather convincingly. Remember, the Orioles had a 3-1 lead in this game.
The Orioles, yeah, in the 2nd inning had the bases loaded with Markakis up. That was the biggest out of the game for Chris to get out of that 2nd inning. Then he only gave up 1 run in the next 4 innings. So that was kind of the crisis point for him in the 2nd inning.
Rangers and Royals play Friday. 972 Rangers to get your tickets. Ian Kinsler will enter that game with hits in 7 straight at bats going back to yesterday. There's a .474 hitter, Ian Kinsler. Piece.
Pretty good shot to the home plate umpire Jerry Davis's mask. Jerry's almost through the game, and then, man, you got to take that 3.5 hours into it.
Again, he got a piece. The 1-2 from Roop. Slowly hit. Michael Young charges. Fields can't get rid of it. So we'll keep playing for a little bit. Chance for Adam Jones here. One last chance to look at him. He's had a real nice series for Baltimore. Boy, Toronto beat Minnesota tonight 12-2. I'm sure the Blue Jays thought, we got the biggest blowout going in baseball tonight. Man, look at Saltalamacchia in a 19-4 game is getting beaten up this inning. Remember, the Rangers in the 10th inning yesterday scored twice. Now in 8 innings tonight, they put 19 on the board. So that's 21 runs over their last 9 innings. Fly ball well hit right field. Adam Jones makes the most of that at bat that he gets with his second home run of the year and of this series. And the ball comes right back. It's 19-6.
He's a good-looking young player. Done some good things against the Rangers. Had a double early in the game. Walked with the bases loaded. Launched that ball to right field.
So this is now the second ever 19-6 game in Arlington. The other one was the game where the Tigers had 13 in the top of the 9th to break a 6-6 tie. Another slowly hit ball right along the line. That is foul. That time by Ryan Friel. That other 19-6 game, that was Joaquin Benoit's debut. And, you know, that's kind of an underreported thing so far this year, Tag. But, you know, Joaquin Benoit is lost for the year. And that's some innings that the Rangers absolutely need to replace in that bullpen.
Well, Joaquin Benoit of a couple of years ago was a major guy on your team. He was one of the better setup men in the league. In fact, I think he was the Ranger pitcher of the year that year.
Little chip shot, shallow right. Kinsler back. Cruz coming on. And it's appropriate that the game ends with those two in your screen. Cruz and Kinsler, they stole the show tonight. One guy had 6 RBI, the other had 6 hits. That's the guy that hit for the cycle right there, Ian Kinsler. And your final score tonight, the Rangers 19 and the Baltimore Orioles 6. John and Buzz are standing by.
Excited as we can be.